Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video for you here today from Men Only. Single mothers are apparently upset because of a new law that is being introduced. Let's take a listen. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Today's episode was suggested to me by Maverick Man 101. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the video description. But without further ado, let's jump into it.
I don't know if y'all have heard about it yet or not, but baby, my baby daddy just sent me a message, y'all. Talk about if you put your baby daddy on child support, they'll be claiming.
Fellas, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that has single moms across the country fired up. President Trump's new child support law has sparked outrage, with many feeling the heat of the changes. But what's really behind this new policy, and why is it causing such a stir? Are we witnessing a shift in the system, or is there more to the story?
I mean, guys, anything that affects these single mothers' ability to try and get resources from men, they're not going to like, right? It's going to be seen as oppressive. They're going to be pissed off about it. I mean, any change to the scam that is being presented to men represents a problem to modern women, particularly the single mothers.
Stick around as we break it all down. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on this controversial topic.
Today's gonna be a good day. Apparently one of Trump's, I'm not sure if it's gonna be an executive order or what it's gonna be. Those fathers or mothers out there that are paying child support will now be able to claim their kids on their taxes for the tax exemption. This is a huge deal. There's a lot of parents out there, both fathers and mothers, that are getting screwed over with child support, right? Especially, I know it varies from state to state. I can speak for California, and the system's ridiculous. I'm glad that there's some change coming. For all those parents out there paying child support, you'll be able to claim your children now on your taxes, which is great news.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. This dude says that there are mothers and fathers who are victims of this crap. I mean, it's predominantly dudes. Okay, let's not get it confused here. Dudes are the ones who are being scammed by this. Dudes who are being forced to pay child support, quite oftentimes, by the way, to kids that are not their own, or to women who, quite frankly, don't deserve it. I mean, let's be real about it, too. A lot of this child support money, you really think that it's all going towards the mothers, right? You know, assuming it's the dude, which the majority of cases it is. You know, if you've got a guy out here paying child support to a woman, usually the money's not actually going towards benefiting the child. It's going towards benefiting her in some way.
The child support system is obviously in need of some reform. I know here in California, it's horrible. I got a lot of friends that are on child support. The system's crazy. Dads out there paying a shitload of child support, and you see the girls, right, either unemployed or even if they have another job with their nice nails or fancy cars, drinking fucking Starbucks every morning. Meanwhile, you got the father barely able to pay any fucking bills, working his ass off just to stay afloat. So I think it's good. I think change is good. I think it's fair. I want to know how all those parents that have been paying child support, what do you guys think about this, right? All the fathers and mothers out there, I know there's a couple, they're rare, but they're out there. What do you guys think about this new law that's going to go into effect? I can imagine the people that are getting child support, you know, waking up this morning and seeing that news.
He's saying that the current administration might make changes that could stop mothers or child support receivers from claiming the child tax credit. And honestly, a lot of people are already up in arms about it, especially the ones who have been benefiting from the current system without ever questioning its fairness. Now, here's the thing. There's no direct correlation between paying child support and being a good father, just like there's no guarantee that receiving child support makes someone a good mother. It's not about what's written on paper. It's about what you actually do as a parent.
I mean, come on, guys. You know, the majority of these families are broken apart by the woman, who then attempts to extract resources from the dude so that she can continue to fund her lifestyle. How many times do you see it where women are not actually having children because they intend to, or because they care about the child, or they want to start a family or be a good mother, but rather a lot of these women are actually having children because they know that it represents financial gain. They're essentially treating children like a business. They're treating, you know, their personal relationships like a business. And I don't feel empathy for these women. if the child support goes away or if it gets lessened or whatever the case turns out to be. I don't feel empathy for these people whatsoever, man. I don't think that the children should be going to the people who can't afford to financially take care of them anyway.
But let's be real for a second. Plenty of dads out there are paying child support religiously and still don't get to see their kids. They're treated like walking ATMs, funding a household they're barely allowed to be part of. Meanwhile, the mothers in these situations have full control over the tax benefits, plus the child support checks. How does that add up? Think about this. Child support is already calculated to ensure the child's financial needs are met. It's supposed to level the playing field for the parent who has the child most of the time. So why, on top of that, does the tax credit automatically go to the same parent, usually the mother, every single year? At what point does the father, the one actually providing financial support, get any recognition for his contribution? And let's not pretend this system is perfect. There are plenty of women out there who use child support as a weapon rather than a tool for their child's benefit. They collect the money, claim the tax credit, and then act like the father's efforts are insignificant. Meanwhile, some of these men are struggling to make ends meet because half their paycheck is gone before they even see it, all while they're denied time with their kids. If the rumors are true and changes are coming, it's about time. Fair is fair. A system that automatically prioritizes one parent over the other without considering the full picture isn't just outdated, it's broken. Fathers who step up and provide financially should have the opportunity to benefit from tax credits, just like mothers do. It's not about taking away, it's about creating balance.
So there's a lot going around on TikTok about Trump changing tax laws, and therefore, if you pay child support, you have the right to claim a child on the child tax credit, etc., etc. And while that is mind-blowing, like just because you pay child support doesn't mean you should get the right to claim the child, because your child support is probably actually a discount in all reality for not being the primary parent, because the primary parent pays for a lot more than what your child support is paying for. But that's a whole nother post, another conversation. But
I'm sorry, guys, but whenever I hear these single mothers start to complain about the fact that they have to pay for their children, it's like, yeah, of course, you're the one with the primary custody of the child. And they're like, the father should be paying for all of this crap. No. I think it's completely stupid, man. I think that women should leave relationships as they came. They should not be receiving money from men in the same way that men should not be receiving, for example, dinners from women. Right? Let's just say you're a woman and you used to cook for your man and now you guys are divorced, you're split up, whatever. Why would the man be entitled to you continuing to provide for him in a food way, insofar as cooking? It's stupid, right? Are you still required to give the man bedroom intimacy? Are you still required to cook him meals? No, of course not. But men are still held to their responsibilities that were present in the relationship. It's so stupid, guys. If you cannot financially afford to look after the child, you shouldn't be the caregiver of the child. You shouldn't be the primary parent of that child. It's incredibly stupid, guys. Women are actively, people think this is like a joke, but women are actively using their children as like a business, because they know that they can take money from the man. That's really what it's all about, man. Really what it's all about. I guarantee you, okay, you remove women's ability to financially gain from doing this crap, and there will be a lot less single mothers. I mean, there'll still be a whole bunch of them because, yay, empowered queens, but there will be significantly less because they can't actually get money for doing it.
I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and get an IP pin from the IRS for your dependent, so that essentially you need that to file and claim them, and therefore the child support parent can't do that. So something to consider, something I plan on doing myself.
This woman right here is saying that the primary parent, the one with the most custody, should always be the one claiming the child on taxes. But let's be honest for a second. This isn't about what's fair or equitable. It's about control, entitlement, and disregarding the contributions of the other parent, usually the father. Here's the kicker. Child support is calculated based on how much time each parent spends with the kid, right? So even if the father spends less time, He's likely paying a substantial amount of money to make up for that. But what happens when that money gets sent over? It's used for the child, sure, but it also helps cover the primary parent's expenses, like rent, utilities, groceries, things that benefit the whole household, not just the kid. Meanwhile, the parent paying child support is often left struggling to maintain their own financial stability. Yet, when tax season rolls around, they're completely cut out of the equation. How is that fair? Let's not act like claiming a child on taxes is just a minor perk. That tax credit can be a significant financial break, especially for the parent who's already shouldering the financial burden of child support. So why should the primary parent, who's already receiving support payments, automatically get the tax claim, too? That's double dipping, plain and simple.
Hey, yo, Trump is trying to pass a new law where fathers or the parent who's paying the child support will be the one who can declare the child on their taxes. This means any single fathers, single mothers who are getting child support payments, the one receiving the payments, will not be able to declare the kids on the taxes. The ones who are receiving the payments, who are paying the payments, can declare the kids on their taxes. Now, I know a lot of single mothers who do a lot of work, but at this point, do you think it'd be more fair if both parents can just split it as far as the taxes are concerned? Or should fathers be able to claim the kids on the taxes? That's exactly why I have a comment section, and I'd like to hear from you.
Here's the thing. Fathers who pay child support absolutely should have the right to claim their kids too. Why is it that single mothers seem to get all the benefits, handouts, tax breaks, sympathy, while the fathers, who are literally funding the child's upbringing, get left out in the cold?
Well, of course, because the men are evil and we're terrible and we're bad people and we're just deadbeat fathers and all of these things. Now, guys, I'll say this, okay? If you're a dude, you have a child, and then you bounce, you just ditch on the child, you're genuinely a deadbeat father, I think that's stupid. I think that's incredibly stupid and irresponsible. But let's not get confused here. The majority of men actually do care about their children. They would like to be in their children's lives. They want to be present. They want to have a family and so on. And they're just getting completely thrown out of the picture. Why? Because women are encouraged to do it, and they can. They can throw out the man and they can get benefits for doing it. Right? They've essentially substituted, the women have essentially been able to throw out the men and then just get the government to extract the resources from the guy. Meanwhile, they can go out there and resume hooking up with dudes out there at the club. So that they can have their cake and eat it too. They can have a family, they can have a kid, right? They can have half a family. They can have a kid. They can be financially stable because they're stealing from the man. And then they can also go out there and hook up with bad boys and be completely irresponsible after the fact as well. It's completely ridiculous, man. It's not good for the children, by the way. Like, none of this is good for the child in any way. It really only benefits the mother. These broken families are not an asset to society. They're not an asset to the child. But everybody, thinks this crap is normal, and because men are just bad, right? And we're just pigs who are ditching the family unit. Also, by the way, guys, let's just say you do have a dude who goes out here and ditches the family unit. Why are women out here hooking up with dudes outside of wedlock, for example? Right? There used to be a time where you would get married and then you would have the kid and then you would have the intimacy. But these women want to run around, have a bunch of fun with random dudes, and then be surprised when crap doesn't work out sometimes. Stupid, man.
Broken system, and it's time we called it out. Let's talk about child support. Fathers are expected to fork over a hefty percentage of their income, often to the point where they're barely able to keep a roof over their own heads. Meanwhile, the mother gets to use that money however she pleases, with little to no accountability. And let's not even get started on how that money is labeled as for the child. Is it, though? Where's the oversight? Where's the system ensuring that every dime is actually going toward the child's needs, not mom's personal luxuries? And when it comes to tax season, guess who gets to claim the kids for all the benefits? 9 times out of 10, it's the mother. Why? Because the system assumes she's the primary caregiver. But if the father is paying child support, isn't he just as invested, if not more? Fathers deserve the chance to claim those kids too. They're contributing financially, emotionally, and often fighting tooth and nail to stay involved in their kids' lives, despite a court system that seems determined to treat them like second-class parents. The reality is this: single mothers have been handed too many perks with zero accountability. They get the sympathy, the benefits, and the narrative that they're doing it all on their own. Meanwhile, fathers are painted as absent, deadbeats, or uninterested, even when they're breaking their backs to support their children. It's unfair, it's biased, and it's harmful, not just to the fathers, but to the kids who miss out on balanced parenting. It's time to level the playing field. Fathers who pay child support should have the right to claim their kids, get tax benefits, and, more importantly, be treated as equal parents. Parenting is a two-way street, and the system needs to stop acting like moms are doing all the heavy lifting. Fathers deserve better, and honestly, the kids do too.
So who gets to claim the child on the taxes? Let's talk about it, because I've been getting tagged in all of the videos discussing this alleged proposal that Trump tweeted that basically said if you're the parent that is paying child support, that you will by default get to claim the child on the taxes every single year. And so let's preface this video by saying it is merely a tweet, it is merely a proposal, it is merely something that Trump may be seeking to introduce as he assumes the presidency. In other words, it is not current law. So let's talk about what is law.
You know, guys, I think this should absolutely be done, by the way. Like, I don't even know why this crap exists in the first place. Oh, we're protecting the children. You know, it's good for the child. No, we're actively encouraging women to break up the family unit and to force the father out of the family unit. But hey, I don't even think this should be a question, man. Yep, absolutely. I don't know why the women are also receiving tax benefits on top of this whole thing when the dudes are the ones who are paying in the first place. Yeah, and like I heard the dude earlier in the video, he's like, oh yeah, you know, there are some women who are doing this. Like, yeah, sure, but 90+% of it is dudes paying child support to women who quite frankly don't deserve it whatsoever. Right? What happened to shame in society, guys? You know, this is essentially the modern woman's career path these days, it seems. Go out there, have a kid to some random dude, leave him, get him on child support, alimony too if you can, hey, maybe a house as well if you can, and then you're set for the rest of your days and you can resume hitting up the club. I think this should instantaneously be passed, man. Executive order, get that bad boy in there. I don't think they should even be receiving child support to begin with. If you can't financially take care of the child, you shouldn't have the child in your custody.
Right now, federal law says that the custodial parent that has the child the majority of the time throughout the year is the parent that gets to claim the child on the taxes every single year. What does that mean here in Texas if you have a court order that says you and your co-parent are going to take turns claiming the child on your taxes? So maybe y'all are going to alternate years. If he decides to claim the child on a year that is technically your year, it's not like the IRS is going to go reading your divorce decree and saying, you know what, you're right. Like, it was actually mom's year, but dad claimed. And so if anything, it's the IRS, right? You may have a contractual claim against him in civil court, but federal law is federal law, and federal law says that right now the primary parent gets to claim the child every single year. In other words, you know that I represent a lot of moms, and so it's not uncommon to see the mom be the primary parent, and sometimes they'll say, well, I want to claim the child every single year, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to stay silent as to that issue because federal law is already in your favor. Absent an agreement in your order, absent any other language in your order that says otherwise, primary parent gets to claim the child on their taxes every single year as of right now. That's not to say that Trump wouldn't be actually seeking to introduce this new proposal that says the parent paying child support would be the one to claim every single year. And so if this law actually does take into effect, consult with a lawyer near you, because there's a chance that even if it did take into effect, it would not supersede the contractual agreement that you have in your court order that says y'all are going to alternate years. If your order is silent as to, you know, who gets to claim the child on your taxes, then it could affect you. So always consult with an attorney. This is not legal advice. I just wanted to clear the air and say that this is not new law that has taken into effect. So everybody stop freaking out. I will post updates as the story develops.
Here's the thing. If it's true that Trump proposed a new child support law where the father paying child support gets to claim the child on his tax return, it's about time someone addressed this blatant imbalance. The fact that this even needs a proposal shows how far off the system has been. And the reactions from women like her? Predictable, yet revealing. Let's break it down. The father is the one consistently contributing financially to the child's well-being, yet the mother gets to claim the child every single year like clockwork, reaping the tax benefits. Why? because the system automatically assumes that the mother is doing more, despite the father literally funding their child's needs. But now that there's a suggestion to shift that dynamic, suddenly it's a problem? Let's call it what it is: entitlement. Her asking, who gets to claim the child, feels less about the child and more about the money.
You know, guys, I think at this point, right, you have these women who feel entitled to ongoing financial support from the man. I think that women should be required to continue to cook meals for their ex-husbands and the father of their kids, guys. I think that women should be contributing. You know, like I hear all this crap about my body, my choice, and yet men are expected to use their bodies to provide for women that they're no longer with. Oh, but the money goes towards the children. Does it really? Guys, how many times have I covered videos? I could probably cover endless videos on this, where you have single mothers who are just ranting about dudes and whatever. And, you know, they're sitting there, they've got their nails done. Okay. They typically they don't work. They live with their parents and stuff like this. And yeah, for sure, the money's just going towards the child, for sure, guys. You know, like it's ridiculous how many times you see women quite clearly putting away their money for other things, and then trying to claim like, oh, she's a victim and life is so difficult and stuff. The truth is, many of these women just don't want to get a job. That's really what it boils down to. You tell them to get a job and they just get so offended at this fact, man.
If the father is paying child support, and sometimes a hefty portion of his income, then he absolutely should have the right to claim the child on his taxes. It's only fair. You can't tell fathers to step up financially and then deny them any of the financial relief that comes with parenting. And let's be honest, some mothers are using child support as a personal slush fund. We've all heard the stories. Child support checks paying for luxury handbags or spa days instead of things the kid actually needs. Meanwhile, the father is struggling to make ends meet, all while being demonized as deadbeat because he couldn't give any extra beyond what the court already mandated. That's not a partnership, that's exploitation. If this law does pass, and let's hope it does, it's not about punishing mothers, it's about accountability and fairness. Fathers deserve recognition for their contributions, not just financial, but emotional too. This isn't about picking sides. It's about ensuring the system benefits the child while being fair to both parents. And if her main concern is losing out on a tax credit, maybe it's time to rethink where her priorities really lie.
The child support system in our country needs reform, and it is only day one in office, and Donald Trump has signed an executive order called the Child Support Reform Act, in which he is making changes at a federal level to the child support system. Is this executive order perfect? No. Does it solve everything? No. But it does more to help fathers or child support payers, which are predominantly fathers, than any other federal act has done in years. Part one is income-based adjustment, so that child support is more closely aligned with an individual income. So those individuals that are low-income payers will suffer less of the financial burden. Part two will cap arrears. So those that fall behind on child support, there'll be a cap on the amount of interest that can be applied to keep them from going into insurmountable debt.
I mean, these are some pretty good changes here. But again, why does this even scale with income in the first place? You know, let's just say you've got some incredibly wealthy guy, okay? The woman divorces his ass, tries to get him on the hook for child support. Why? So that man now has to pay ridiculous amounts because he earns more money. Tell me this, guys. What is the point of wealthy men even risking a relationship with a modern woman? You know, like genuinely riddle me that. What is the point of men actually going through and risking this crap? There isn't, man, because I'm not to say every woman's going to do this to you, but the fact of the matter is that they can. They can leave, they can try and get you on the hook for child support, which is disproportionate to what they deserve at all. You know, like, again, let's just say you're a really wealthy dude. Well, the court's going to sit there and they're going to go, well, this man's wealthy, he can afford it. Let's slap him with, you know, some ridiculous amount per month. Like, no, man. It's funny how in society, guys, you as a dude actively get punished for putting in more. Right? You work harder, you go out there, you start your business, you work hard, oh, you get taxed more. You know, you go out there, you try and treat women well, you get them flowers, you take them out on dates, you plan it, oops, you get cheated on and she treats you like crap. oops, you're invisible. You know, it's like, why would men even bother with this nonsense in the first place? It shouldn't scale with income to begin with. Hell, it shouldn't even exist to begin with. Absolutely crazy.
Part 3 is compliance incentives. So those individuals that consistently meet their child support demands, they'll be able to apply for tax relief and benefits. The 3 previous parts of the executive order benefited the child support payers, so in a lot of cases, the fathers. But the 4th and final part benefits the acceptor or the receiver of the child support, and it is streamlined enforcement so that it'll make it easier for those receiving child support to collect it through an automated system. In addition to this executive order, Trump is now making it so that the individual that is paying the child support is the individual that gets to claim the child on their taxes, meaning that whoever pays gets the child tax credit, which is how it should have always been. If you're paying a lot of money to the other person, why should you not reap the child tax benefits when they don't have to pay taxes on that child support? This is just a start. Because when's the last time you saw conversations happening at a federal level regarding the child support system or the child custody system? I can't remember a time it's ever happened. But this means that now there's a stage. Now there's a place that we can go and get rid of the corruption in the family court, that we can start addressing the problems within the child support system. It starts small for it to get big. And we've got a starting point now. This is a good future for a lot of dads out there and some moms that are also assessed with paying child support.
Wait, did she also say in here, by the way, that it was going to be automated? So, you know, it's just going to immediately be taken out of your bank account or something like this? Like, guys, again, completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. You know, I think that we should start requiring these women to cook meals for their ex-husbands, their ex-boyfriends, whatever. And if they don't, I think we should start shipping these women off to jail, man. Just send them straight to jail because they're not meeting their obligations. Right? Oh, we have to be paid alimony. We have to be paid child support because we deserve it. You know, we're looking after the child. No, if you were looking after the child, you wouldn't leave the dude in the first place. Again, guys, I really want to stress this. Statistically speaking, women are the ones who are leaving the relationships. They are the ones who are leaving the marriages. Why? Because number one, they always think the grass is greener on the other side. And number two, they benefit from doing so. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. So don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.